ago, I got a file indicating that third quarter performance for the service had exceeded our non-oil target as a service as a whole. And we please give ourselves a round of applause.
That was the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mrs. Ifeko Omogu Okauru, speaking in Kano on Thursday, the 20th of October, at the Northwest Regional Enlarged Management Meeting of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The Executive Chairman was talking about the service, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, exceeding the target set for it in tax collection in the first 9 months of 2011. And not just taxes, non-oil taxes. You see, the Federal Inland Revenue Service is adjudged by its ability to collect taxes from non-oil sources, which is an indication that the service is really working instead of just sitting back and collecting petroleum profit tax from about 7 or 8 oil majors. And talking about tax collection, let's fill you in with the global details. According to figures just released, between January and September 2011, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has already collected 90% of the overall target for the entire 12 months of the year 2011, having collected 3.37 trillion naira out of a target of 3.74 trillion naira in the 2011 budget. Out of that target of 3.74 trillion, non-oil taxes were expected to bring in 1.7 trillion naira at the end of the year. So far, in 9 months, non-oil taxes have brought in 1.17, amounting to 36% of total revenue. Oil taxes brought in 2.2 trillion naira. We want to congratulate the Federal Revenue Service and do hope that more cheering news will come out of Revenue House before the end of the year 2011. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuloko, and the program is Tax Matters.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service introduces the tax card to make all tax payment easy for you. Just follow these 7 easy steps. Obtain your taxpayer identification number, TIN, for free at any FIRS office. Get your tax card from your bank. Log on to www.firsonline.com, then register to obtain a password and access the payment process pages. Fill your TIN number, tax type you're paying, amount payable, and period of payment. Confirm the entries on your transaction. Then print your e-ticket and present at any FIRS office as an evidence of tax paid. It's that simple. For more information, visit www.firs.gov.ng or any FIRS office close to you. FIRS, it pays to pay your tax.
Welcome back. The program is Tax Matters, and our main staple on today's episode is the story of the Regional Enlarged Management Meeting held in Kano State on Thursday, 20th of October 2011. This time around, hosted by the Northwest Region and the Land Tax Office, Kano. Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, Governor of Kano State, was represented at the opening ceremony by the Commissioner for Planning and Budget, Alhaji Yusuf Bello Dambata. The Coordinating Director, Tax Operation Group at the FIRS, Mr. S.S. Ogungbeson, welcomed the special representative of Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso to the opening ceremony and seized the opportunity to present the scorecard of the Northwest Regional Formation of the Service as well as that of the Land Tax Office, Kano.
I wish to observe that the Northwest region, including Kano LTO, has recorded an aggregate of 45% of the total revenue target within the period of January to September 2011. Out of the overall target figure of 34 billion for the period, it was only able to record a low achievement of 16 billion, which is comprised of 47 achievement for the LTO and 45%, for the entire region, and 45% for the LTO. By our standard, this is poor performance. And what is painful about it is the fact that even this achievement of 16 billion for this period of 3 quarters is lower in comparison to the amount collected in 2010 by a whole of 3 billion. If you review the performance of the ITOs in the region, you will notice that Katsina, which in the past used to perform very well, scored below 50%. They scored 45.54. Kano 2 scored 44.66%, and Sokoto 53. I think the best of the offices in the region, which has been in Kebbi, scored 62%. This is poor performance by management standard. We've been asking for reasons why it should be so, because if you are not even able to add to what you achieved last year, in spite of the high level of expenditure, increased budget, you shouldn't be reporting something lower than your performance in the preceding year. Let me at this point bring to the attention of Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, the fact that our officers on the field are often challenged in their effort to follow up on the matter of outstanding tax liabilities owed by state governments, including those owed by their MDAs, which currently in Kano State stood at 3.57 billion. We appreciate the fact that the current government has just assumed office and may not have had a hand in the established tax arrears, but we seek for your intervention and assistance to resolve the protracted issue of these arrears as owed by the state.
In a keynote address at the opening ceremony, the executive chairman of the FRS seized the opportunity to announce to a highly appreciative audience that the service had exceeded the target set for it in tax collection in the first 9 months of 2011.
The coordinating director has done an excellent job in talking about what this meeting is about and why we are here. And as you can see, if the reason for being here is to celebrate our success this year in the Northwest region, I'm sure you know that that's not the case. But we do have something to celebrate, and perhaps as we go around, we should also thank those that have made it possible for us to celebrate and do our bit to also contribute to that celebration. Just yesterday, or 2 days ago, I got a file indicating that third quarter performance for the service had exceeded our non-oil target as a service as a whole. And we please give ourselves a round of applause. Let me just pause a little bit, because beyond the fact that we hold this meeting, go around the various regions to talk to our staff and to engage, is also to use the opportunity to share with you why we are doing what we do. The global economy and the Nigerian economy this year hasn't been very good. And there's no doubt that increasingly, as you read the papers, as you listen to all the various pronouncements, you must have seen that in Europe, Greece is having problems, Italy is having problems, the US is having problems, the UK is having problems, and Nigeria, as part of this whole global environment, with weak demand coming from these countries, and considering we're dependent on oil, will also have issues, because we're still quite dependent on oil and on the demand of all these other countries on our oil. What that means is that the ability of us to provide the needed quality of life to the citizens of this country is very uncertain, for as long as we cannot grow the non-oil revenue base to the levels expected. Now, of course, in thinking about that, there are two sides of growing the non-oil revenue base. There's that is within our control as tax administrators, and there's that is within the control of all of government, and that is ensuring that we expand the overall tax base, which I believe the states, local, and federal governments are looking at. But for that within our control is to improve on the efficiency of our operations, to improve on the effectiveness, to reduce and indeed eliminate the level of tax arrears, to ensure our work is so organized that there are no loopholes, no leakages, no gaps, and we still have a lot of work to do in that area.
Alhaji Yusuf Bello Dambata, the Kano State Commissioner for Planning and Budget, who stood in for Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso at the opening ceremony, spoke about the efforts of the state government in improving the state's revenue profile.
I want to assure you that Kano State government will partner with FRS on all tax and revenue issues, regardless of the consequences, because one of the objectives of this administration is to ensure prudence and accountability in tax administration. We already embarked on a number of measures to ensure that people comply with tax laws. You know, we have a number of tax laws. Some are governed by federal government, some states, and some at the local government. So mostly a number of people, particularly in Kano, are complaining of multiple taxation because a local government person will come and ask for taxes. A state representative will also ask, and as on a similar note, somebody from FIRS will ask the same issue. And at this juncture, I want to inform the management, or rather the chairman of FIRS, that already when we come on board, Kano State government inherited a meager amount in terms of IGR. So what we are doing now is for us to strengthen our revenue house by ensuring that they comply with all the tax laws. They also embark on tax sensitization across the state, because on normal days, people don't want to pay taxes. Kano State has been known as a state that don't enforce tax laws. We have potentials. We have a number of windows that will have taxes. A situation whereby in the country now, federal government is considering the full implementation of sovereign wealth fund, a situation whereby more or less will abolish the excess growth account. That's the window whereby state government gets something at the end of the month. So really, we have no option than to focus on IGR. We have to generate revenue that will even cater for our overhead. The level of overhead in Nigeria is really worrisome. So really, in Kano State, what we are doing is for us to ensure that we comply with the global standard of at least maintaining a 40-60% basis between capital and recurrent expenditure. So that's why really the issue of tax in Kano will become necessary, and it becomes a mandate for the Board of Internal Revenue to ensure compliance, to ensure that people comply.
The Honorable Commissioner also reacted to the matter of tax arrears owed by the state ministries, departments and agencies, and local governments.
I also want to tell the coordinating director on the appeal he made on withholding tax of 3.57 billion, which Kano State government is supposed to remit to FIRS. As he has said earlier that the government is new, we inherited this amount of money, and we are working tirelessly to see how we can sort it out with the FIRS. And at this juncture, without taking much of your time, I want to declare the meeting open.
Now from Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Okay, what happened?
Madam, make we see your receipt booklet where they take some.
Receipt booklet?
Yes, madam. Madam, now where you they write your VAT?
Okay, VAT they the amount we dey for the receipt.
Madam, it dey very wrong to write VAT inclusive.
Okay, now that we dey write down.
The right thing to do be say you go write the amount for the VAT. We be say we go fit see am separately.
This one wey una don talk, I go dey do am like that.
My business people them, make sure say una write the amount of money where una customer pay for goods for una receipt. Make una also write the money for VAT for receipt separately. Federal Inland Revenue Service say it dey wrong to write VAT inclusive for una receipt. If una not do as we talk so, court fit ask una to pay half the money the people buy goods from una to government, or you go jail, or even self. The two join together. This message now from Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. The program is Tax Matters, and what we are doing on this episode is to share with you what transpired at the Regional Enlarged Management Meeting of the Northwest Region of the FIRS and the Large Tax Office Kano, which took place in Kano State on Thursday, October 20, 2011. Mr. Ajayi Bamidele, the director in charge of the Large Tax Department at the FIRS headquarters in Abuja, presented a detailed performance appraisal of the Northwest Region and the Land Tax Office Kano in the period under review. Top management of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, led by the Executive Chairman, paid a courtesy visit on the Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, at Government House, Kano. Governor Kwankwaso reeled out the achievements of his administration in the last 5 months, anchoring everything on the creation of employment as a means of further revenue generation. Tax Matters spoke to Governor Kwankwaso after the visit. You reeled out a lot of laudable projects that you've been involved in since you returned to power. What part is taxation playing in all of this? Revenue from taxation, what part is it playing in all of this?
Well, I believe it is going to play a very crucial role. Why? Because you need money to do all this. And that is why we are able to convince our people who are supposed to pay tax in Kano. And I can assure you, if I ask the chairman of our Board of Internal Revenue, he will tell you that we get more money than others were getting previously. And we will continue to get more money.
Back to the regional enlarged management meeting. Several papers were presented on various topics around the theme of the meeting, which is implementing an efficient self-assessment system in order to close the compliance gap. Tax Matters spoke to the regional coordinator of the Northwest region of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the tax controller of the Land Tax Office Kano in our bid to unravel the cause or causes behind the seemingly low performance of the region and the Land Tax Office. What are the states under your jurisdiction?
The states are Jigawa State, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara State.
And how many integrated tax offices do you have under your jurisdiction?
There are 8 in number. Apart from these 6 states, each with a state, but Katsina has 2 and Kano has 2, making it 8 altogether.
8 integrated tax offices. Now, from the report that was presented at the regional enlargement meeting, the Northwest region has not performed very well. What reasons can you adduce for this?
There were some obstacles along the line. First and foremost, we had the situation. This year is a kind of election year where we have new government that came in. Essentially, most of the states, most of these offices I mentioned, they depend mainly on state government deduction, utility tax and VAT deduction as source. So when they came on board, after this warning in May, they were trying to find their bearings before contracts are awarded. So it took them time to settle that. It is now they are awarding the contracts and now they are responding positively. Then there are those of them with arrears that are not paying as supposed to. We are now in contact with them. And the government, various governments that are involved have agreed with us that henceforth they will be remitting instrumentally. And I'm sure before the year runs out, we'll turn around the situation.
The regional coordinator told us a few moments ago that there are 2 tax offices, integrated tax offices in Kano, one at Club Road, one at Zaria Road. So when you say Land Tax Office, are you saying there's a 3rd office in Kano?
Obviously, it's a 3rd office, but office another category. The Land Tax Offices handle cases from 1 billion with a turnover of 1 billion and above. Okay. We have 6 LTOs in the nation, and LTO Kano is one of them, handling cases from 1 billion and above, with a turnover of 1 billion and above.
For only Kano?
No, the coverage of the jurisdiction, the tax jurisdiction of LTO Kano is between the northeast and the northwest. I'm covering up to Taraba, I'm covering Adamawa, I'm covering Meduguri, I'm covering Kebbi, I'm covering Katsina, Sokoto, Kano, and Kaduna, Bauchi, Gombe. But just that we have a few cases that are dotted around these states.
From what you have said, sir, talking about the states covered by the Land Tax Office Kano, you have a huge landmass to cover. And you also told us that the criterion is turnover of 1 billion and above. So you are catering to the big boys. How are the big boys doing in relation to contributing to the tax basket? How are they doing?
Obviously, the story has been full of cases with, most of them are in the textile industry. Some others are in export, leather, the export leather. And there's a section of our tax laws that exempt exported products from suffering taxes. But besides that, we still collect education tax from them. We still collect VAT from them. But the income, the company's income tax, they are exempted in most of the cases. But notwithstanding, we still have a few cases that we tax. And they are spread. We have Sokoto Cement, we have Ashaka Cement, we have other cases that are really doing well.
The report that was presented at the enlarged management meeting was to the effect that the Northwest region and the LTO Kano did not quite perform up to the expectation of the FRS management. Yes. Do you have any reasons for this?
We have 48 taxpayers in our, not compared with 770 cases in some other LTOs. We have 48 live cases right now. When you remove those in export business, you remove the textile industries that they are trying to revamp. You know, if you listen to the news recently, some monies were voted to revamp the textile industries. So that is affecting our performance.
Do you have any remedial measures in the pipeline towards making sure that even with those 48 live cases, yes, even despite the fact that some of the companies have been transferred to other tax jurisdictions, that you can perform up to the expectation of the FRS management, or maybe even supersede the expectation of management?
I'm actually a month plus old in Kano, and I've put a lot of measures in place. We've written about, we are trying to scrub some taxpayers that are qualified to be in our tax net, that have not been brought into the LTO tax bracket. We are working hand in hand with the ITOs. There are other international tax cases whose presence is not visible on the ordinary look of the activities of the office. We have started scrubbing for those cases. I've written to 30 of them. It is their response that we're waiting for. As soon as we open up that, our income will definitely, our revenues will definitely rise, because these 30 cases, as I said, they are not visible. They are internal. They come here, do contract, and go back. But remittances are made to them, and we are to collect withholding tax and VAT from the activities in Nigeria.
You are confident that this situation, January to September, that before the year runs out, you may be able to improve on your performance?
Of course, I'm saying it is affirmatively that before the year runs out, we have mapped out strategies of daily tax drive, especially on all companies, government agencies, all that are involved. In fact, the banks, as far as collection is concerned, we are going to follow every angle to make sure that throughout the remaining 2-3 months ahead, we are going to turn around the situation. We are very positive on that.
We do share in the optimism of the two gentlemen and do pray and hope that before the end of the year 2011, they will be smiling and that they will put smiles on the faces of top management of the FRS and indeed President Goodluck Jonathan and Dr. Mrs. Okonjo-Iweala. We need money to do all that needs to be done. If we have put smiles on your own face today, let's do it again next week. Same station, same day of the week, same time of the day. Thank you for watching.